Hey everybody, today we're talking about Terra Sigillata. I love Terra Sigillata and I love using it, and I'm excited to share that with you today in today's video. So the first thing I want to mention is that Terra Sigillata is clay. It is a kind of clay slip, extremely fine clay slip. You can make it yourself or you can buy it, and it can be applied to greenware that is leather hard or bone dry. So it's very simple ceramic technology. It goes back millennia. The Greeks used it on their red and black ware and black and red ware, pottery that people are familiar with, and they would burnish it to an extremely high gloss. So it kind of looks like glaze, but it is simply clay slip. It's not the kind of glaze that you think of now, which is like a cold glassy surface. So Terra Sigillata literally means sealed earth, and it does help seal a pot. Pots that are low fire, that are not painted with Terra Sigillata, are very, very porous. And when you put Terra Sigillata on and burnish it, it can become more watertight, which is important for low fire ware. Terra Sigillata is named after a type of Roman pottery from the 1st century. So I want to talk about making your own first. I'm not going to make any today. I just want to talk about it. One of the easiest ways of making Terra Sigillata is buying ball clay. Ball clay is a dried powder that we use in clay and glaze recipes. You can buy ball clay, mix it with sodium silicate and water, and drill it up or ball mill it. When you drill it up, it's going to make a kind of liquid, and with time that liquid will settle out. This container here is Terra Sig that doesn't have the sludge anymore, but there is water separating off of it. What you do with the ball clay mixture is you drill it up, let it settle for a few days. You can remove the water from the top with a turkey baster, which I'll do here just a little bit. I'm just gonna suck up the water. Oops. And remove it. And then you would siphon off the middle layer, which is the Terra Sig. After you have siphoned off that middle layer, you can then let it evaporate or remove the water like I'm doing now to make it a little more concentrated. Okay, so this Sig is ready to go. This Terra Sigillata is already ready to be used, so you want to make sure you shake it up really well. What happens is it settles out, so shake it up before using. Now before I apply this and show you how to burnish, just want to talk about the differences. Terra Sig can be extremely different depending on how it's applied. So this Terra Sig is it's many layers, like maybe 4 or 5 layers, and each layer is burnished in between before the next layer is added to it. This was fired. The color is created by firing it upside down and pit firing. This has Terra Sig too, but it's a little more dull, but it has a very smooth feeling to it. This was made with the horsehair. This was a feather and horsehair. And then this one, which looks unlike either, is lots and lots and lots of layers of Terra Sig being applied onto bone dry clay to the point where it starts to crackle and flake off. All right, so I'm going to show you how to apply Terra Sigillata to a bone dry pot. All I need is the Sig, a brush, the pot, and something to burnish with. In this case, I have a very large piece of plastic. You could also use a smooth stone, the back of a spoon, a chamois, or a very soft cloth, or a tumbled gemstone. So I'm going to shake this up again. All right. I'm going to use the brush to stir this up. So I'm going to mention this before I do it. You want to apply the Terra Sig to the, you see everything? You want to apply the Terra Sig to the surface of the pot. It's going to be wet, and it's going to start to dry out. And before it gets super dry, you want to polish it in that moment. And I think I'm just gonna show you. So if I applied Terra Sig onto this pot, it's wet and tacky and I couldn't touch it. And then after a few seconds, it's dry enough to burnish. Do you see this? And then now it's too dry. So now I can't burnish it. Now it's as dry as the pot. So you want to grab it. You kind of want to burnish it in that sweet spot between being wet and being dry. It's like a damp. So this I can't really burnish. It's kind of wasted. So let me show you one more time the right way. I'm gonna apply the Sig. I'm gonna do it in a couple different directions this time. I'm gonna get the plastic ready. Now it's just about ready right now. So I'm gonna start burnishing. To burnish, I'm just gonna make circular motion. Okay, so what that's done is it's very, very shiny here now. Very shiny, very smooth, and you'll notice it's darkened. So it kind of looks like it's still wet, but it's just as dry here as it is here now. But see the difference? So that's what you'd want to do to this pot. You'd want to paint Sig on and burnish. Now this part isn't ruined. I could paint more Sig right over top of it. Sometimes I will brush downward, across, down, across, to try to hide the brush strokes. You can also overlap onto areas that you've already burnished. But just painting it on alone isn't enough. You have to burnish it. See that? That's a really nice one. Okay, so what I want to do is just keep adding layers. I would probably do 3 or 4 layers. And I want to burnish it and then cover it up again and burnish it again. Okay, so that's pretty much it. If you burnish the inside of a pot, it's going to be more watertight. And if you burnish the outside of a pot, you can do some of these different surface effects with it. All right, guys, well, that's it. We'll have a short one today, and I'll be making more videos next week, and I'll see you then.